Let's get the overview on. So it sounds to me like keto and what I know as a lay, like like a self-taught nutritionist. Um, how it sounds like the Atkins diet is very similar. Is that this? What's the difference between the two, and why would somebody, other than great marketing, why would somebody choose one over the other?
Yeah, so the Atkins diet is similar to keto in the sense that it's a lower carb diet, but keto is an extremely low carb diet.
So it's a
So
little more restrictive than Atkins. Is that where we're
yes,
going with that?
exactly. So
Okay.
on the Atkins diet, you can have some carbohydrates, um, mainly high fiber carbohydrates, right? So like legumes or some fruit, and they restrict the carbohydrates, but it's not as low as 5% of your calories. So it's a little less restrictive than, what a ketogenic diet is. Typically, I would say, again, all of these diets can have benefits for certain people, but it really depends on, first of all, you as an individual, how sustainable this is. Second of all, do you have any, like you said, disease conditions that we need to be aware of that could be negatively impacted? Yeah.
I was on the Whole 30 diet. I actually enjoyed it. I was comfortable with it. I'm not a big drinker anyway, so cutting out alcohol was sort of a non-issue. And I felt pretty good. My 8-year-old daughter now uses as a drum. My otherwise known as my stomach went down, and things were pretty good on the Whole 30 diet. But I kind of bounced back off of that when COVID-19 quarantining was a thing, and it still is, obviously. So Whole 30, what's the story there?
I think Whole 30 is a very valuable jumpstart diet because it's designed to be temporary, right? So it's designed to be 30 days and that's it. But I think for a lot of people, it can be a really good way for them to jumpstart a new type of behavior and recognize that, okay, I really don't need this much sugar in my diet. I really don't need, all of the alcohol that I normally drink. So it can really help people to kind of just become more aware of their eating habits during that 30-day period. And then again, from there, as you're transitioning off, figure out what habits you can adopt into your regular lifestyle and what habits you might want to slowly reincorporate.
Two more for you. So we just talked about Whole 30, and so is paleo just a more extreme version of Whole 30?
So I actually think it's kind of the opposite.
Okay.
Whole 30 is more of an extreme version of a paleo diet. So the paleo diet, typically you're restricted to foods that were, around during the Paleolithic era. So, you know,
Like dinosaur meat.
exactly.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
like T-Rex. But, with the paleo diet, you can have paleo cookies or paleo crackers or waffles or things made from approved paleo ingredients that are not allowed on the Whole 30 diet. With all of these restrictive diets where you're cutting out foods, you just want to be careful, that we don't have any micronutrient deficiencies or anything like that. Because with a lot of these, you're still cutting out foods that are less healthy for us, like added sugar and, processed fats. But with a lot of them, you're also cutting out healthy foods like legumes is a big one, whole grains is another one. So you just want to be, careful if you are adopting this lifestyle. Definitely, again, I always recommend to do it under the advisement of a dietitian that can make sure you're getting all of your nutrient needs.
Great. Great. All right, so I have one more for you, and I think this one's going to be Weight Watchers. What do you think?
So I think Weight Watchers, apparently they recently kind of changed their structure and their point system. So certain foods are now 0 points. And I believe some of those foods are things like fruits and like grilled chicken, which in my opinion, you can still gain weight or not see weight loss from eating quote unquote healthy foods if they're not in the right portions.
Sure.
So, you
Makes
know,
sense.
things like fruit in particular breaks down into sugar in the body. If we're eating too much fruit, that could definitely be a factor in, you know, our success with weight
So
loss.
those are 0 points, and I'm minimally familiar with the points. And so basically, if I eat a whole chicken for breakfast and a whole chicken for dinner, and like intersperse like an entire cantaloupe and a watermelon, or like a cantaloupe and a honeydew, then that's no points, and I'm good for the day. But I'm definitely getting fat from that regimen.
Yeah, I think if you're doing it the way it was intended, which is probably not to go overboard with anything, then I think it can be effective. And I also think the level of support that a program like Weight Watchers provides is really beneficial for people. A lot of what I see is really the importance of accountability throughout this process because, you know, if I can tell you what to do to help you lose weight, but, you know, if we're not checking in on a regular basis, if we're not, you know, meeting every 2 or 3 weeks and you lack that level of accountability, it's a lot easier to fall off track.